Great, so welcome everyone to the last Zoom session of the District 3 conference. This one is utilizing AAF resources across the board. We have the AAF National COG as panelists today, and then Shelley McGee, a past COG chair, a past District 3 governor, a Pat Martin district winner, a past president of AAF of the Midlands. We love her very much, and she is going to be moderating today's panel, so we're very excited about that. And again, this is being recorded, and we'll make it available on afdistrict3.org, hopefully by early next week. And with that, I will let Shelley take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, Danielle. Hey, District 3ers. It's really, really good to not see you all, but I know you're there. So much love. Miss everybody. It's good to be a part of my small but mighty district conference. So Danielle, thanks for asking me. Hello, Tiffany. It's good to see you.
It's great to see you.
Hi, sweetie. Okay, guys. So I am going to introduce everybody, and some of these folks you probably already know. Some of them may be new to you. Either way, by the time we finish with this session today, you are going to understand how the folks around me on this screen can make your life better, okay? So that's a big part of what we're here to do today. So I'm going to start with our current chair. This is Miss Mary Lee, and she is your COG chair. And if any of you are saying to yourself, what's the COG? Guess what the first thing we're going to talk about is today. So Mary Lee, is your home district is District 7, and you're from AAF Jackson, correct?
Yes, Jackson, Mississippi.
All right, well, say hey to District 3, my dear.
Hello, District 3.
Okay, our current vice chair is Larry Brantley, and Larry is from AAF Dallas, big old club, y'all, in District 10, and a long history of amazing club achievement. In fact, a lot of the D3 accomplishments were because we were jealous of D10. So Larry, welcome to the party. Please say hello to District 3.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me as part of this program.
Okay, cool. All right, Yash, I know you're out there. Your video ran away, but there he is. Yash, y'all, Yash is driving through Colorado right now, right, Yash? So
yes, Colorado. I spent the night in Wyoming.
Ah,
it was weird. There's a conspiracy theory that Wyoming doesn't really exist. You can find it on the internet. You can find anything on the internet.
Well, apparently.
But there's a conspiracy theory, so I can tell you without a doubt, Wyoming exists.
All right. Well, thank you. You guys probably recognize Josh as your immediate past chair of the COG. His home club is AAF Orlando, and that is in District 4. So, Yash, thank you, even while on a road trip with your family, for making time for District 3 today to answer some questions for us. We really appreciate it.
It's a brave new world. Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
All right. And the woman who needs no introduction here, that's part of our panel today, Danielle Sally from AAF of the Midlands, my home club, and AAF District 3, who was recently elected to the leadership committee of the COG as the new secretary treasurer, and will be your chair in a couple of years. So congratulations to Danielle. We are so proud of her and glad to have her on the panel with us today. So Danielle,
thank you, Shelley.
These folks know you pretty well, girl.
Yes.
Speaking of former AAF club president of the year, district, like big, it goes on and on. So, and Tiffany, I did not realize you were going to be here with us today, but I'm so in this particular session on the panel, but I'm really happy to see you. We all know Tiffany.
Well, if you want me to like leave, I can
not need to leave. But I'm sorry, I did not have a formal introduction. AAF Myrtle Beach and District 3 as well, and those of us in the district all know Tiffany. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the questions because we have limited time and we can only cover so much ground, guys. So you guys know who your panel is, and the first question that I'm going to throw out there for the panel to address, because some of you in your clubs, a lot of times it's not until you start to get involved heavily at the district level or in going to district meetings on behalf of your club that you start to really realize what the COG is and what it really does and how it affects your club and your members directly. So to start out with, I'm going to ask that question, guys, and I'm going to throw this one to Mary, the current chair. Mary, can you tell our District 3 attendees, what is the COG?
Well, if I can't tell you, then we're really in big trouble. The CFG is comprised of the executive committee, the 4 members of whom you just met, and the 15 governors from every district in the country of AAF, and several districts also bring their lieutenant governors to be part of the group the year before they serve as governor, but only the governors are voting members. So also the chair and vice chair of the AD2 and the regional representatives from the Eastern, Central, and Western regions are on the COG as well.
And Mary Lee, can you just elaborate a little bit on what the purpose of the COG is? Like, you're talking about voting, but for some of our club members, they may be like, what?
The purpose of the COG is to represent the clubs, the local clubs, and the AD2 clubs at the national level. And so we vote on things like, right now we're working on a streamlined membership program to propose to AAF where membership levels would be the same in all clubs throughout the country, so that we become more consistent throughout the country. Clubs would set their membership dues at those levels, but we're working on a streamlined membership level program. We also are available to all the local clubs for board retreats or for any advice for struggling clubs. All 4 members of the executive committee are available to visit your clubs if necessary, although none of us are really traveling right now, except Yash, of course. But we can certainly do Zoom calls or Zoom meetings with your board or your membership. Some of us have topics that we discuss as well and speak on with clubs. Yash has several topics about podcasting and all sorts of other things, and Larry has a wealth of knowledge about job search and recruiting, and I can talk about a lot of things that would bore you all to death, but a lot of things about club operations and things like that. And so we really are the liaison between the local clubs and the national organization. And Dawn Reeves serves with us as well, and Amanda D. Hart, and then Steve Pacheco also attends all of our monthly conference calls and works directly with us. So he knows what's going on with the clubs, and he comes from the club organization as well, and is very interested and supportive of our club network. So all the clubs can rest assured that our leadership is very club oriented. So
very cool.
Shelley, if I could add just real briefly a couple things. The COG stands for Council of Governors, for those of you, maybe we didn't spell that out, but also it's the highest elected role that membership where you can rise to the ranks within AAF. So as you become a part of the EC like Danielle did, that is the highest elected role that represents the grassroots membership.
Thank you, Larry. That's a great point. So ladies and gentlemen, Danielle, Sally, something you can aspire to. So
that's right. We want to encourage everyone to, after you serve at your club level as a member, and then hopefully on your board and as a committee chair or as an officer, to continue your AAF career and work at the district level, serve at the district level, and then of course at the national level. I think all of us here can tell you what a great experience it is, and really a huge addition and benefit to your career as well. So we want to encourage that, and we keep our former Council of Governors chairs involved, like Shelley McGee, to help us in that effort as well. So
So I know that Danielle told me earlier that she was not really going to talk too much on this because she feels like she's been talking at you guys in District 3 all day long. But I would like to just toss out a quick, Mary Lee, you talked about a number of different things that the COG can do to help clubs and districts just now. And that's really great because, you know, we're all in advertising. So one of our jobs, right, is answer the what's in it for me, so what question, right, when we're working on creative. So Danielle, can you just talk really briefly about some of the specific education opportunities and support opportunities that the COG as a governing body offers for local boards of local clubs and for district boards of districts?
Absolutely. So last year, the COG started doing leadership webinars that are really targeted to board of directors and people who are looking to maybe even be prospects to be a board of directors on their local club level. And so all of these webinars are going to tackle and have programming ideas around things that are going to make them stronger club leadership in the end. So we just had one at the end of July that was programming for young professionals, and we invited the Add2 National Executive Committee to host that one. It was great. All of those webinars that we do host will be available on aaf.org on their club leadership resources page. But our goal is to make sure we do have a webinar every single month on a variety of topics that will only enhance your board experience at the club level.
Awesome. Thank you, Danielle. That's great. So I'm going to throw one to Yash now because I think it'll be fun to see how this goes for you while, you know, traveling, Yash. So Yash, can you tell our D3 attendees how can their clubs take advantage of some of the resources that the COG has to offer in the current COVID environment that we are trying to function in, because it's created a unique set of challenges for local clubs?
Definitely. I mean, the national organization, Don and Amanda have actually put together a list of speakers that are available with virtual topics. So that's one thing that you can definitely do if you're looking for programming. Another thing that you can do is take the opportunity that, I mean, I call it an opportunity that everybody is kind of looking at some of longer term projects because we don't have those sort of day-to-day things in our way that we typically would have. Take this opportunity to maybe look at some of these longer term things like website development, or maybe, you know, larger scale projects within the organization. Like, for example, membership brochures. Like, it's a great time to work on some of that content so that as soon as we are able to get back to events and do things in a live format, you know, the club is stronger than it was before. So the COG is actually working on an initiative right now that will be putting together a lot of content that the clubs can share as resources, everything ranging from, you know, membership brochure templates to website templates to, you know, membership cards, bylaws and policy manual guidelines, all sorts of content that we're working on centralizing so that club leaders can reach into there and either help to redevelop a club or to, you know, do some CPR work if a club is failing in some capacity. So I would encourage you to look at some of the things that have been dogging the clubs, your individual clubs for a while, and reach out to your COG representative, which could be your district governor. You could reach out to us directly and say like, hey, it would be really helpful if I could see how a club did a membership brochure or how a club did, you know, whatever. And we can actually use our contacts to go find you guys some samples of things that have been done so that it's not like you're reinventing the wheel every time. Because the point of all this is not for you to spend your entire day, you know, creating all these different resources one by one. We want to make it as easy as possible for all of our clubs to share all this content. So hopefully that'll help.
Excellent. Thanks, Yash. That's fantastic. So it's really good to know for you guys as local clubs, local districts, that, you know, you have a structure of folks working and coordinating on your behalf with the national level to really help make sure not only that your clubs can survive through, you know, what has been a very challenging year and is sure to be as we are rolling into the next AAF year, an even more challenging year, because for many of us, those memberships were sewed up. That was all dealt with in a pre-COVID world. it's kind of now, as the rubber's about to meet the road, as we come into the new AAF fiscal year, that this may get a little challenging. So to that particular question, or to that thought, I want to throw it to Larry here for a minute. Larry, you know, I think it's realistic to think that COVID is potentially going to have an impact on membership and revenue as we enter the new AAF fiscal year. So what do you think that clubs can do to really retain their members and make sure that they don't suffer significant attrition in this kind of new reality that they're working in?
Absolutely. And I think one of the things that the COG's really talked at length about regarding membership is communication is absolutely clear. You cannot over communicate right now. So to the point of weekly updates or using Slack for your committee chats, using the technology that we have and what we are forced to deal with, you have to stay on top of it. And I think so communicating on a weekly basis with your members and making sure that that content is relevant, but also that you vary it. It doesn't need to be, you know, rinse and repeat the same thing, rubber stamped every week. Make sure you tease them with a little bit of the upcoming topics, but also make sure they're engaged. So the second area is it's truly engagement. Your members are going to be different than any other members and any other club. So stay connected. That's why the communication is so critical. Find out what's relevant. Financial issues will become part of the challenge. If they're not having programming or having speakers come in, where it's the revenue coming from beyond membership. So you need to have those discussions. And I think one of the ways the COG can truly help, particularly in best practices, is we're always talking to clubs around the country and we all learn best from each other. And if we can share what one club is doing that's relevant, that can help other clubs, that's what we will do, is to share those cases and connect club presidents and leadership and districts so that we're all holding each other up rather than taking and running or hiding. Something fell. So.
No, that was thunder.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. Let me mute.
Shelly and I are only about 30 minutes apart, so I figured I knew what hit her. But kind of, I want to add what Larry kind of said with being engaged with your member, because we had a session during this conference on growing membership in a small market. So if you weren't able to attend that, I encourage you to go watch the recording once it's available on our website. But that was one thing that Jeff and Valerie, our Midlands leaders that gave that seminar, they talked about making sure it's more than just emailing people. It's more than putting out a social post. Now more than ever, we need to make sure we're doing those personal touches. We're reaching out to them, calling them, send them a letter, do it old fashioned, but we're reaching out to them and we're really talking to them, because some people might look at this as like, financially, I don't know if I want to do an AAF membership this year, but it's really important we stay engaged with all those people.
Totally agree.
Very good. All right. Thank you, Danielle. Appreciate that very much. So something that we wanted to talk about today, and when Danielle and I were talking about what we should cover here, I think this was something she was really hoping that we would have time to get to, and we do. And by the way, let me just say, I see you, Matt Brown. I see you. A lot of clubs are using this time to try and enhance their D&I efforts across the country. I think that's something that we should all really be giving some serious consideration and thought to right now. So Larry, I'd like to ask you first, what resources does the AAF National have that they can offer that will help local clubs in their D&I efforts?
Absolutely. So I think the first and foremost, where we have the most staying power is our Mosaic Center. And Ayanna Jackson and Melanie Hughes are the two national staffers currently who are supporting and running that group. There's a large history of people we've recognized who are movers and shakers in the industry, both on diverse racial backgrounds and gender backgrounds, as well as in inclusion and equality from that perspective. So they're the first step. I mean, I would absolutely reach there because there's history there already. And the newest and probably the most, I think, exciting as it relates to our clubs is our Apex Speaker Center, where it is an online tool that you're able to sign up if you're a speaker that can speak to the topics of diversity, inclusion, and equality, or if you know someone that maybe spoke at one of your clubs that you want to recommend, you can put them in that list. It is building right now, so I'm not sure it's all completely ready for prime time, but I'd be willing to bet you if you reached out to Ayana and Melanie, they could pull some names from behind the scenes if you give them a specific topic that you're looking for. What I would also add, just from my perspective as a recruiter nationally, every corporate client I work with, an agency, this is the first topic on the agenda. It's always about how they can reflect their community at large, as well as be relevant in today's market. So it's not a nice to have, it's a need to have function for all companies, and anyone that's looking for talent, it's part of the criteria. So this is a very important issue, and I would encourage all clubs to make sure it's part of your agenda this year for sure.
Excellent. Guys, sorry, I'm keeping myself on mute because thunder and lightning in the background, so apologies. Great, thank you, Larry. Tiffany, totally unplanned, but so let me just put you on the spot for a second. So is there, in terms of D3 and D&I issues, what would you like to express to, you know, the clubs that are on this call within the district, as far as what D3 is planning right now, and how that may impact, you know, what your choices are for the coming AAF year? Any recommendations you're making to clubs, opportunities through the district, or national opportunities that Larry may have mentioned or that you guys plan to take advantage of?
Yes, and you're not putting me on the spot, but because I actually had some things written down that I was like very, very adamant about. So I found my paper. See, it was right here.
Got you.
One thing I want to say, I'm really glad that you all instituted the small groups. Well, it makes me feel like I'm at church, like saying small groups, but anyway, that has been a useful tool to know that, like, Danielle, blah, 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 blah. So I'm loving that. But however, on the D3 level, we recognize we're not sure when this pandemic is going to be over. So with that being said, what is it that we can do to help our members be engaged? You know, should we change the structure of membership? Since things are going to be more virtual, you know, what does that look like? What type of virtual events can we have that are meaningful and engaging at the same time? And the timeliness, or what time of the day those should be, based off what it really is. But I have really asked the club to make sure that we take advantage of D3. We will have webinars produced. I am fine with those being by the quarter, along with being able to see what's, you know, hosted on the national site, but to really take advantage of the webinars. And mainly for us to really be resources for one another. No one is on an island. And as Shelley has always said, there's no committee of one, that we all work together, we all pull together. For any of the club presidents, whenever they're having their meetings, to call us and to invite us, and we'll totally Zoom in and be present for their meetings or for their functions. There was one other, like, really, really important thing. Gosh, Shelley. And I was
Girl, like, committees of one ain't me. That was a Joanne Schechter right there.
That's where it came from, Joanne.
Oh,
okay, well, you stole it, so you just like kept using it over and over and over again. And like, as far as making sure, well, I already went over events, and we're really staying on top of taxes, and just being there for one another. That's the most important. I think that's the most important part for us.
And to add on that, and we've kind of said it, we've said it during this entire conference, we've kind of hit upon it today. If you have a board of directors meeting, if you just want to get advice, if you want to have a one-on-one, anyone on the COG, anyone at the district level, we're available for that. We would encourage that. The one plus side, again, I think I've said so many times, I'm okay with this pandemic world. My life hasn't changed that much. But the one plus side to it, it's allowed all of us to easily attend board of directors meetings across the board. once we started going virtual at the district level, I could easily have Steve Pacheco and Don Reeves and anyone from the COG attend our district meetings. And that wasn't happening before because of travel budgets. So I definitely want to encourage everyone to know that we are resources and don't feel like you can't reach out to any of us.
Oh, and there was one other, thank you, that made me remember the other part. Because we offer this, and we and I don't know why we're not doing it as a club, because as advertisers, we, you know, really focus on telling our clients to like promote themselves. So I'm like, what is it that we can do to also promote AAF? And I said, hey, a lot of the downtown redevelopment areas are looking at doing some unique things to bring traffic back downtown. Well, whether it's a mural or whatever, let's see if we can get it involved in that. Like, I can't draw or anything, but I mean, I think I may be able to kind of paint if you tell me what to do, you know? Or let's reach out to those Chamber of Commerces. They always need speakers, and we can be a resource for that. And on top of that, I even told them I landed an account once just being a speaker at a Chamber of Commerce event. So those are other opportunities we can take advantage of being visible, because we really just don't self-promote ourselves enough.
The emperor rarely has any clothes, Tiffany. You are so right. That's a truism of advertising for sure. So I want to point out in the chat box, which you may or may not have up on the right-hand side of your screen, there are some resources that have been put out there for you. Yash, do you want to tell us what you've posted out there for the benefit of the participants today?
Yeah. I just, as you guys were having a conversation about coronavirus and operating the club, I just wanted to make sure that many of you were aware that I think it was like a few weeks after the lockdown happened, I think in April, we held a program that was called Operating Your Club Through the Pandemic. It was a webinar, part of that leadership series that Danielle referenced a little while ago. So all of those webinars are being recorded and put on the AAF National website. So there's lots of stuff in there. We did a membership one. We did a roundtable with Steve Pacheco. We did this coronavirus pandemic one. So all of that's posted there. So I just kind of quickly went over to the website and grabbed the link for you and put it in the chat. But basically that's a 30-minute webinar on how to operate your club through the pandemic. The PDF of the slides is available also on the AAF website. It may also be in that Dropbox folder. But go ahead and take a look at that. If you have any questions, you can certainly reach out to us. But those were just ideas, tips, and things that you could be doing to operate your club efficiently. But that's the kind of resources that the COG tries to put together. You know, we look at what's going on. We tried to take out the doubling up of work. So, you know, we figured a lot of clubs were looking at this right now. We rescheduled a webinar that we had scheduled for that day. We bumped it in order to put that one out because it just seemed more timely and important. So hopefully you guys are able to watch that and get a little bit of benefit from it. Thank
you, Yash. And
sure
there was a question from Autumn Nichols who had asked about getting access to the Apex resource. Danielle, it looks like you guys have posted that. Can you just comment on that really quickly?
Yes, we have posted a link to information about the Apex on aafnational.org. I believe, and if someone knows more information, I believe right now they are requesting speakers to be a part of, now I have the thunder, they're requesting speakers to be a part of the Multicultural Speakers Bureau, which is the Apex. So definitely look at that. And I believe once they'll have more speakers available, we can start sharing that information.
Right. And in the meantime, you can reach out to Ayana directly and just tell her what you're wanting to talk about, because they do have some that have already been vetted. They're working on the tool where you can search by topic, and that's still in the works.
And Larry, for anybody who may not know, can you identify who Ayana is, please?
Yes, Ayana is the VP of the Mosaic Center. So she's, since Connie's departure, she's kind of stepped up to really steer a lot of that for the Mosaic Center. And she and Melanie are kind of working together in tandem. Melanie is actually working on also, there's an initiative that the Mosaic Center and AAF National have been working on that is a diversity quotient software with MIT, where they're working on specifically how corporations and companies are ranking. That assessment has already been initially screened, and that data will be shared with the AAF members, as well as those outside corporations who want to tap into how do they compare, how can they improve. So I think that's a huge resource that will be available to many companies and agencies in our markets.
Awesome.
I wanted to say I am a member of the, well, I don't know if I've been vetted, and that probably means that Danielle's letter of recommendation and Joey's letter of recommendation, maybe it just wasn't good enough. Who knows? But
I'm not a writer.
time will, time will tell.
The words "not good enough" in combination with the name Danielle Sally doesn't really compute for me.
But then I'm vetted. I must be on the list. So I haven't checked.
Girl, it was good to see you, Tiffany. I missed you.
Oh yeah,
All right,
I had one more topic. I mean, it wasn't on our list of questions, but I think we're all in a prime opportunity for our members as well, is philanthropy and mission-driven initiatives, volunteerism in our communities through our skills. We can't get together and do things, but so many, and Tiffany referenced restaurants and civic leaders where they need help. I mean, this is a new world for them, and most of them are not even close to being digitally competent. So being able to promote their businesses for other people to see, whether it's their restaurant or if it's a nonprofit that's focused on people in a food necessity area where they need to find out the food bank information, we can help connect the dots, and we can help share information on how to best find them and communicate. So we have an opportunity here, and I would say this is a really good thing that all AF could support our communities at large and nationally.
That's a great point, Yash. I suspect that you popped back on because you have some thoughts.
Well, I just wanted to actually add one more thing, and it's in regards to our president's survey that I assume these current presidents probably didn't realize happened last year, but last year we started a president's survey of obviously the presidents across the country, because we were trying to get the temperature for what's happening at the local clubs, and we also wanted to understand a little bit about the president's experiences in coming up through leadership and how we could help as the COG sort of make that experience a little bit smoother, that transition a little bit cleaner than it had been in the past. And so this will be the second year of doing that survey. That'll probably come out sometime in September, October. And I just wanted to encourage the presidents to please take a part in that. Last year, we had about 112 presidents participate out of the 130 that were asked to. So hopefully, if you guys grab that survey, you're able to respond to it and be as honest as possible. That's how we get to a lot of the initiatives that we decide to roll out for the year. That's how we got to rolling out that webinar leadership series, because we saw that presidents were feeling like there wasn't enough supportive materials in that way. So just be on the lookout for that. Your district governors will likely be the ones that actually release it to you. And if you could do that and be honest in your answers, it will help us, and it'll go a long way in helping to develop future content that the COG will be putting out.
Excellent. Thank you, Yash.
Shelley, another way that every club can utilize AAF resources is to utilize the expertise of Clark Rector, who is the government relations guru at AAF, and he can help you at a local level as well for any legislation or activity about taxes or that relates to anything advertising legislatively. He can help you with numbers and figures and trends and attitudes that legislators and government leaders really want to know and will look at. And he has resources that will give you all the facts that you need to combat any kind of subversive activity for the advertising industry. So please utilize Clark Rector. He is really an expert and has been fighting in Maryland for their against their taxation initiatives, and has been very successful with that. So he can help you with your initiatives too as they arise in your areas.
That's a wonderful point, Mary. Thank you very much. Yeah, Clark is amazing, and just an incredible resource for local
And
clubs.
he's also available for webinars, or he can call into your club conference calls or whatever, and give information and help you with government relations activities at your local club level too. So
Absolutely.
please utilize him.
And is a delightful human being to boot, without a doubt. And I don't know if any of you have noticed this, but his daughter keeps showing up as an extra in the new Perry Mason series. So, you know, a little bit of trivia about Clark's life for you. Anyway, all right, guys. Well, so we've kind of covered our agenda. I'm going to just take a moment, since we have the ability to have a chat. Are there any questions that anybody who from District 3 who is on the call today would like to ask either anybody specifically in the panel, or just toss out in general that you're hoping somebody would address? Any issues that you're currently having with your club, concerns, things you're looking for help with, or things you really would like an answer to? I'm happy to take a moment to see if there's anything we can address before we wrap the session up. What did they say? Bueller? Bueller. Matt, you're not allowed to send any more texts during this.
It wouldn't be a District 3 conference if we didn't have group texts in between
We
it
didn't have group texts with
to
Matt.
distract
Yeah, that's
us.
so true.
I will say, while we wait to see if any questions show up, this is the last Zoom session of our conference. And to make sure you tune in to Facebook Live on AAF District 3 promptly at 4 o'clock, and we will have our Salute to Achievers, which has the Quality Club winners, which I believe is a competition that Shelley started at the district level. Is that right?
I did, yeah, about 1 million years ago at this point.
And it's produced about, I'm probably wrong on my numbers, maybe 9 or 10 National Club of the Years as a result. So it's definitely a great competition.
Lastly, I did want to point out, and this was from the, it was a study, well, this is from the COG meeting that we had. Everyone in today, from yesterday through today, it seems like we've been together a week. I swear to God, it feels that long. But has addressed filling board roles and how some people are co-chairing. Some boards aren't looking like typical boards. Some boards may have 15 members, but it's only because they're sharing things by threes of who specializes in what, to kind of segment it to what really, you know, you don't want someone in a position like you wouldn't want me as a treasurer, but like social media, other things I could do. So you're trying to find, they're finding like the right niche for each thing. Succession planning, they're working on that. And as far as declining in membership, now that we have given the tools, you guys have given us the tools for our toolbox to be able to show the importance of AAF and what AAF can do and the advantages, then that's going to help with the membership. And also, you know, this virtual world right now may even help be able to, for a smaller shop to be a member now. So this was really good. So I was going over a list of things that I keep everything. I got to start like scanning documents, but that's it. That's all I have to say. I love you all.
This month's leadership webinar is about building your board and keeping them engaged. So that will be later this month, and you'll be receiving communication about that as well. So.
Yeah, and I actually just texted that to Lindsay. I said, we have it, it's all, and I gave her the day. She said, I didn't know what it was about. I'm like, oh yeah, I have my notes. I'm sorry I hadn't shared that with you yet, but we're sharing, we're learning to share and to get information out there.
Provoking my laughter is Yasha's comment to everybody. For any of you who aren't looking at the comments, Yash said, question, can Mary Lee pursue a second career reading audiobooks in her perfect Southern accent? Girl, you got,
yes, why not?
You gave Yash the vapors. I mean, come on now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, since we don't have, I don't think any more questions from the group, thank you to everybody for attending today. As Danielle said, please do not forget to tune in for Club Achievement and all of the exciting things that are surrounding that following this, which is promptly at 4 o'clock, correct, Danielle?
That's correct.
And we would like to thank D3 on behalf of D3, would like to thank all of the panelists today, to our current superstar, Miss Danielle Sally. Thank you, Danielle. To Larry, thank you. And D3, whether some of us know it or not, owes a great debt of gratitude to D10, because it is really a true thing that I was at a national conference sitting there watching all of these D10 National Club of the Year winners at the How'd They Do That session. And I really wanted to know how y'all did that. And once we started talking about it and put together the competition that Danielle was just referring to, all of a sudden we started finding we had a whole bunch of clubs of the year. So thank you. We feel, even though we are a very small district and you guys are a very big district, we still took a page out of your book and it's worked really well for us.
I
So
was gonna say, I think our slogan, small but mighty, started after that.
it did. It did. I wrote it on something and then people started chanting it. I don't know. It was very kind of crazy. Mary Lee, thank you so much for being here today as well. We are so appreciative for your leadership during such a difficult time. And I know that everybody from D3 is excited for what you're going to be doing for everybody, and is just really appreciative. So thank you for that. Yash, my dear, my love, my sweet, thank you.
I miss you. We have to.
I miss
we have
you
to work
too.
it. I mean, seriously, what are you doing? Let's go.
I know.
Let's
What
go
are
do
you
something.
doing? We have to have this conversation offline, darling.
Okay, that
Yash,
works.
thank you so much, and for your leadership last year during a very tumultuous time. Thank you for everything that you've done, for your continued role. Very, very grateful to have you guys here. Tiffany, thank you for everything you do for District 3, always and forever. So guys, it's a pleasure to it's a pleasure for me to see everybody on the Zoom. And for those of you that are out there in D3 land that have been tuned in, thank you. It's really great to get to run a panel for you guys. It's awfully nice. I miss everybody. I just want to give all of my deepest love and appreciation for D3 and just cheer all of my small but mighty clubs on as we go into the bold new world. So take care, guys. And thank you so much for a great session, and enjoy the 4 o'clock show. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.